Hello, hello, hello. It's Let's Talk Marriage with the Manleys.
Yes.
Come on in, everybody. It's Friday night. Yep, it's a new night, different night. We're doing something different tonight. So come on in, everybody. Come on in, come on in. Come on in. It's Let's Talk Marriage with the Manleys.
We are here.
Yes, and we are super excited to be on here tonight. So come on in. All right, come on in. We see you coming in. That's good. Yes, come on in. We see you. We see you.
Yes.
Thank you for joining. Thank you for coming in. Yes, Let's Talk Marriage with the Manleys. We're getting our devices together. So if you see us looking away, we're trying to get them all set up. So we're glad you guys are on tonight. So come on in. Yes, I see you. Hey, Tanisha, good to see you. Glad you're on with us on tonight. It's good to see everybody. We're super excited to be on. It's Let's Talk Marriage with the Manleys. And we are so excited to be on with you all on tonight. So come on in. Come on in. Yes, yes, yes. I see you. I see you. Come on in. Let us know where you're coming in from. Come on in the room. Yes, come and join us tonight. Let's talk marriage with the Manleys. So come on in the room. Come on in the room. Come on in the room.
Yes.
Come on in the room. Yes. All righty. We're getting our devices together. Hey, fam. Yep.
Right.
Family in the DC area. Come on.
We're gonna get up. We're gonna get up there, DC.
Absolutely. We're coming that way. Come on in, everybody. As you're coming in, go ahead and like, share, and tag. I know it's Friday night. Let somebody know that we're on. Go ahead and get somebody in the room with you. Tell their friends. Tell everybody we're on tonight, and we get ready to get it. It's getting ready to jump off. It's gonna be good. Yes, gonna have lessons tonight from the Manleys. Yes. Hey, Marcia, good to see you.
Yes,
thank
Marcia.
you. Come on in. Come on in. Whoever else is out there, come on in. Don't stay on the outside. Come on into the room. Come on in the room. Yeah, we want you to come on in. Tag somebody, let them know that we're on. It's again, Let's Talk Marriage with the Manleys, and it's our Friday night edition. We're not normally on Friday nights. We're normally on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. But tonight we're doing something different. We decided we would come on tonight. We have something else to do. So we want you guys to slide on in the room with us. Come on, let us know who's out there. Let us know who's on, who's watching, who's listening. Who's on the who's out there just passing by. Stop on in the room for a few moments. We got some good stuff to share with you tonight. We're super excited. This is our anniversary weekend.
Yes.
Woo-hoo! Sunday we will be celebrating
29
29 years of marriage, and so we're so excited about 29 years of marriage. Wow. Have you know that people don't do 29 days of anything?
That's right.
Come on. And so we will be married 29 years on Sunday. And so tonight we're just going to talk for a few moments on just lessons we've learned.
So you are 28 and I am 29 years old.
What?
So we've been married that long?
What? Y'all pray for my husband. What is he talking about? Yes, thank you, Tanisha. Happy 29. Happy 29. I'm not with my husband. I'm miss something. I'm not sure what he's talking about. All right, so we married 29 years tonight as of Sunday. So we're going to talk about just some lessons and some things that we have learned over the 29 years, right? We've talked about a lot in terms of just marriage and being married. Couples and things we've experienced. But I think tonight we'll just share just some things that we've learned, things that we feel are very helpful as reminders for us as couples.
So what I was trying to say is we've been married before we knew we were married.
Okay. All right. He's deep tonight. He deep. He in there deep tonight. Yes. So tonight we're going to talk about some lessons that we've learned, things that we learned, or things that you should consider. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Some things that you should know, and just things to practice and lessons that we've learned in our marriage and in our relationship.
That's right.
Right? 29 years later, 29 years still hanging in here. First 10 years of the marriage, we didn't know if we were going to be here or not. We hit some really difficult places and didn't know if we wanted to stick and stay, but we stuck and we stayed the course. And so 29 years later, here we are.
That's right.
So we're going to get started. We're waiting on a little few more people to get into the room, but we see our friends are in the room. We got Tanisha in the room. We got Daryl in the room. Whoa, Lord, we got Ann, Nikki, Baker, Parker in the room with us on tonight. And so we're going to go ahead and get started on tonight with our discussion. So one of the things I think we were talking about, a lesson that we've learned, and especially when we started being married. You know, I think we were in a relationship with each other, but I don't think that we were literally married to each other, right? I think that we were, let me say, I think we were living together and thinking that we were married, but we really weren't married. So I think it took us some time to learn how to be married and be in a relationship. And I think one of the things that I learned was that we have to be intentional, right? We literally have to be intentional in the relationship. And so, you know, being intentional about, you know, spending time with each other, being intentional about how we talk to each other, be intentional about our communication, the level of it, just being intentional overall. What would you say?
So, you know, when you say be intentional, it requires you being honest. And you must know what you have. You know, and I know for me, you know, it took me a moment to really realize what I am actually in. You know, that I am actually married.
That's good.
You know, and all that goes along with being married in itself. And so once you realize what you are in, then you can really begin to partake.
That's good.
Of those things that go along with that. And so, like you said, you know, we mentioned that, you know, we're coming on 29 years, but, you know, it took us a while, or I can say for me, it took me a while to really grasp what I am really in, what I have, you know, have partaken in. You know, and once you be able to do that, then you can have a greater appreciation for what you have. And what you possess. And then when you do that, then you can become more intentional in your words, in your behavior.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
In your communication. You know, and so in other words, you become more focused.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you said something important. I think that it's important that you learn how to be married, because sometimes we want to be partakers of things that we haven't learned what it means to be a partaker of it. Like I can take part in being married and all the things that come along with it, but if I don't understand it right, I'm going to misuse it. And so we can misuse the very important parts of the relationship because we didn't know what it meant to be married. And I think so learning and being intentional about being married and being intentional about being married to each other and intentional about being in the relationship and not being absent from the relationship. Because if you're not intentional, you'll be a single person and not intentional doing things you shouldn't be doing.
Right.
And so we had to literally be intentional.
That's good because, you know, we also look at intentional. You know, you have to be intentional the right way because you don't want to say, well, you know, if I'm going to be intentional, that means you got to do everything my way. You got to say things the way I want you to say them. No, that becomes selfish then. And so you take on a selfish intention.
Right.
And we have to be careful that, you know, you don't do that being married.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
And so, you know, I must say that, you know, we have experienced that in these 29 years.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think the other thing that I've learned, that we learned together, is that we have to prioritize each other.
Oh, yes.
You know, you can't be in a relationship and not prioritize your mate. You can't not be in a relationship and not prioritize your spouse.
Mm-hmm.
You know, your spouse should be first and foremost out of everything. Your spouse should be first and foremost over everything. And so it has to be that kind of relationship. It has to be where you're putting them first, putting them before your kids, right? Putting them before your family, right? Your in-laws, your mom and daddy should not be before your spouse, right? Before, you know, and I'm gonna say it like this, even before the church. Sometimes we get so busy doing work in the church that our spouse gets left behind. And so not spending the right time and prioritizing them, that they know they're first, right? They're first over other relationships. They're first over other people first.
Right. Because, you know, if you're not careful, we got to be reminded when we stated those vows, that's what we were saying. Forsaking all others.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
And so not only as it pertains to relationship, but sometimes it pertains to things.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I might not be able to get to do what I want to do at this particular time. But for the sake of the relationship, so be it.
And it doesn't mean that you won't ever get to do it.
Right.
It just means that right now we may have to prioritize this over that and come back to it. But I think prioritizing each other, making sure that your spouse knows that they are first in your life. People ought to be able to know that your spouse is first by the conversation that comes out of your mouth. People know whether or not you love your husband or love your wife or not, because when they meet you, it's not long after you start talking about your husband or your wife. They know that they're important to you. If you ever walk up on a coworker and then somebody says, well, I've met you before I've met you, and that's because your spouse has been talking about you. Then that means that says something about what your spouse is carrying, you know, as it relates to you and the relationship.
Right. And so, you know, and the thing is, you don't want to never feel like you have to fight for a place.
Right. Oh, that's good.
When you should already have a place.
Yes, that's good.
Because if you have to fight for a place, then you don't have a place.
Absolutely.
You know? And
Absolutely.
so when we talk about prioritizing, we're saying first things first.
That's good.
You know,
that's so good. That is so good.
You know, things of importance.
That's good, Pastor. So it's important that you kind of keep that first. And so what are some other things you have learned about being married for 29 years?
Wow, it's so many things. But, you know, one thing I would say, to value your spouse.
That's good.
Place value on them. And it's not so much the big things, but it's the little things that turns out to be big things. You know, value their opinions. Value, you know, things they like to do. Value them as a person.
That's good.
You know, in other words, consider them in all that you do.
That's good. That's good.
Be considerate. You know, that's one of the things I've learned, to be considerate. You know, so in other words, when I'm making a decision, you know, I'm not only making a decision based on me, but my decision has to do with those who are close to me.
Absolutely.
Even in the smallest things. Give you an example. I'm making a decision. Well, you know, I'm going to the store.
That's good.
I'm gonna pick up something for me, but then I need to call my wife and find out, do you want something? Do you need anything?
That's right. That's right.
That's just being considerate.
And you know, that's a
and
good
that's
point
value.
That's a good point you make it, because there have been times my husband has been out and he has come back with some. He's calling and say, I'm out and so I'm at so and so. Do you want something? I'm gonna bring you back something. Or my husband actually absolutely just shown back up at home with stuff, like just brought stuff in the house. And I'm like, what? And it's such a blessing. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Because what I'm saying is, once you value something, you always have it in mind.
Mm-hmm.
And so here, it's so easy for us to do things, for ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But if you have your spouse in mind, you always would consider them.
That's right.
I remember, you would say when you were growing up, your mother would buy things not only for you, but she would buy things for your sister too, because she had the two of you in mind.
Absolutely.
And you do the same thing.
Absolutely.
As it pertains to our boys.
Right. If I buy one for one, I got to buy something for the other.
Yes.
And then my husband said to me, when you go to the grocery store, you buy certain things for my boys, or you buy certain things for them, but you didn't buy nothing for me. And so I said, oh, Lord, I didn't. So I had to make sure that I buy certain things that I know he enjoys eating in terms of snacks, so he knows I'm including him. When I go out, and he may not like the restaurant that we go to, but I find out what he likes and go to that restaurant, even if it's out of my way, because I know to let him know I was thinking of you. I'm considering you, and so being considerate about and valuing your spouse is so important. It lets them know that you are on their mind. It lets them know that you are concerned about them, that you want them to know how important they are.
Right. And what it does, it gives you a sense of appreciation.
Absolutely.
That I appreciate you.
Yes.
For the person that you are.
Right. And that's so important, that part.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. For the person that you are.
Right.
Not so much about what you can do for me, but for the person that you are.
Yes.
Right? And when you come into a place of really valuing who your spouse is and loving them for who they are and getting to know them for who they are, man, things start to take on a whole different light, a whole different pattern, a whole different way, because now I'm seeing them differently. So when I see them different, I'm going to behave towards them a different way. Why? Because I see them different.
Right. And so when you have that mindset, guess what? It relieves the pressure.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it
does. For them to feel like they got to come up to a certain standard. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Yeah. That's good. That's good, Pastor.
And so it allows them to be themselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. And you want your spouse to be themselves.
Yeah. You
don't want them to try to be nobody else, to live up to, because guess what? They can keep living up to a standard that you keep raising. Right? They can start off living up to this standard, and that they meet that satisfaction for you, and before you know it, you got another standard. Then they're trying to reach to something else, and they always are trying to achieve at a standard that you keep raising, because you are not satisfied with what you get, because flesh always is dissatisfied. Mm-hmm. Flesh is always trying to get more. Flesh is always trying to get the next hit, the next fulfillment, the next satisfaction.
That's right.
And so that's why you got to love and value your spouse for who they are, not for what you can get out of them. Because what you get out of them this time, you're going to want something else the next time.
So now you just said something. Now you're saying flesh is never satisfied. Mm-hmm. So now we have to make sure that we don't marry for fleshly reasons.
That's right. That's right. Because if you do that, you're going to keep getting flesh stuff. Right? And we can talk about that. People get married, for many different reasons. But we know some of those reasons is, it's burning and we want to go ahead and get to the bedroom. But you got to live in the relationship. And flesh doesn't get satisfied. Flesh is always going to look for another outlet, another something, another hit, another something to get fulfillment.
That's right.
Right? And so that's why you have to really process. That's why dating clean and dating without touching each other is very important, so that's not the reason why you're getting married.
Right, because flesh is temporary fulfillment.
Yes, that's good. Mm-hmm.
It's never lasting fulfillment. It's temporary. Mm-hmm. So when, like you said, you got to find another thing. You got to find something else because it doesn't last.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's good. Yeah. That's good. Other things we've learned for those of you that are coming on the line. We're going to be celebrating 29 years of marriage on Sunday, June the 20th. And so tonight we're just talking about lessons that we've learned. Number one, other things we've learned: don't let your children separate you.
No.
Oh my God. Y'all know those who have children, your children will try to separate you, have you pitting against each other. You can't let your children separate you. You got to make sure that your spouse comes before your children and your children don't separate and put a wedge. Too many relationships stay together just for the children. And when the children are gone, there is no relationship.
Mm-hmm. So let me say this. There's a difference from being married with children and then married to children.
That's good. Come on, talk about it.
It's not the same.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're married with children, God bless you, because the Bible says, children are an heritage of the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
But to be married to children, it's a whole different ballgame.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, your attachment
Mm-hmm.
has gone much deeper than what it should.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Mm-hmm. Talk about it.
And so, again, we got to make sure that we're not more attached to our children than we are to our spouse.
Absolutely.
Because if it wasn't for the spouse, there would be no children.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Come on, that's good.
Huh?
That's
and so, yes, we love our children, but we can't love our children more than we love our spouses.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the children will know the difference.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. They do. They do. And your spouse knows the difference. Mm-hmm. Your spouse knows that the children are before you. The spouse knows that the children get more of your attention.
Yeah.
The spouse knows that the children are more, you're more attached to them than you are with building a relationship with your spouse. And so don't let your children separate you. Some other things. Number 5, go on getaways, schedule date nights. How do you cultivate good relationship? Is you schedule date nights. You do things with each other. You got to keep the fire burning, and keep the fan flame.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Now, what we're learning, yes, even after 29 years, is the simple thing.
Mm-hmm.
You said something, getaway. You can determine what a getaway is.
That's right.
If just by leaving your house, it's a getaway.
Yeah.
You go to the mall, that's a getaway.
Mm-hmm.
You go out and get something to eat, that's a getaway.
To your backyard. Come on, can be a getaway if you set it up in a beautiful way. Come on, you can set up a very nice candlelit, barn with a little fire and some something to eat and just sit out there and enjoy each other. That could be a getaway. Mm-hmm. You create the getaway.
So a getaway is from your normal routine.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Y'all need to put that in the comments. A getaway is something away from your normal routine. Yeah. Because guess what? We get in the routine. Mm-hmm. We get caught up in the routine of doing things the same old. Come on. We go to work, come home, take a shower, eat our dinner, go to bed, get up, go to work, go to church, come back. Well, it's a routine. You get in routines when it comes to intimacy. Gets in routines when it comes to sex. It's just the same old. And people this is why people fall out and have breakdown in relationships, because it's the routine. Mm-hmm. Get away from the routine. Do something different. That's even now that the pandemic, we're still in it, but the world is opening up. What can you do differently than you were doing before? Right? I hope that while the pandemic was going on, you became creative to do things in your home that created a getaway.
Yeah. So
right?
In other words, to create an intimacy.
Yes. You can create a getaway in your bedroom. Come on, you can decorate it, set it up, make it wonderful and all of that. You don't have nobody in your family, right? No kids around. You could really set it up. But we have to be creative. And guess what? We have to ask the Holy Spirit for that creativeness.
That's right.
Show me how to be creative that I can set up a getaway. Mm-hmm. Right? But you can, listen, there's so much you can do. But be creative.
Yeah.
Some of the other things, continue to show affection. I know we just giving you some different things. I know we're not in an order. We're kind of giving you some things, but show affection to your spouse. What does that mean, really? What does that mean, really?
Be nice. Be kind to your spouse.
Yes.
That shouldn't be hard.
Speak kind words.
Yes.
Come on, speak with love in your mouth. Learn how to talk with love in your mouth. Hey, how are you, Shamika? Good to see you. Speak with love in your mouth. Talk with kind words in your mouth. Say things that are gentle and soft and nice.
Right.
These are lessons that we've learned over 29 years. Sunday we'll be celebrating 29 years, and we're talking about things that we've learned.
And I'm gonna say this: it's always right to be nice.
That's right.
Always.
Yes.
Right to be nice. You're never wrong when you're nice.
That's right. That's right.
Even to those who are not nice.
I remember our late bishop told us one time. He said, "You all are nice people." He said, "But if you just be nice to each other at home,
yes,
y'all would have a wonderful marriage.
Right.
But be nice."
And guess what? That's what we practice, being nice to one another. And it's not dependent on if the other person is nice to you.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. So I'm not showing him kindness and showing niceness to him because I want to get it back. I'm doing it because it's right to do. And I want him to know that I value who he is.
Yes.
I value being in this relationship with him. I want to be in a happy space with him. I want to be in a joyful relationship. Yes. I don't want us to be in strife and fussing and arguing all the time. I want us to be in a place of peace.
Right. And whether you know it or not, last night I told our oldest son that there's no other person for me but your mom. So I let him know that.
Come on here.
Yeah. And so again, we have to set, priorities. Set everything in order.
That's good. So then the other thing will be setting boundaries.
Yes.
We set boundaries that we know we stay within these parameters. We stay within these boundaries. And I think setting boundaries really for our children is really important. I'm talking a lot about children because, what we've learned, we were married for 10 years before we had our first child. And after the first 10 years was a rough time. But after we got past those 10 years and we started to now live and trying to now experience marriage in a different light, we started being married. I literally walked into being a wife. I think I was a good woman, but then I became a good wife, or learning to be a good wife once we hit that rough place and we were able to heal and come through it. And so I think for me, having our children in the midst of us rekindling and refocusing, refreshing our love for one another after having gone through that very difficult, tough time was really us setting some boundaries that we had to set so that we could keep our relationship in a different place and get it in a place where it needed to be, where there was love and passion and all those things that need to be in our relationship.
Right. You just said something because the thought came to my mind. For those of you all who have kids, it's so important that your kids see the love between the two of you.
That's right. That's so true.
Because they won't know any other love outside of the two of you.
Absolutely. And how important is it for a man, for the husband, for the father, to show love to the wife in the marriage, that the children, especially the boys, see that?
Oh, that's very important. Because now you're setting the example for your boys to show them how to love a female, how to love an opposite sex, how to be respectful, how to be a gentleman, how to conduct yourself, and so how to see women.
That's good.
And
that's
then
good.
You help your sons how to choose.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Come on.
Yeah, and so it's very important because children watch their parents.
That's right, they do.
And so when you show them love, you show them it's okay to love. It's not bad to love. Right. It's good to love.
Absolutely. And it teaches them how to not only to give love, but how to receive it.
Yes.
And so when someone shows them love, especially females, they won't go head over heels and lose their mind because now this person is showing them some love in a way that they never received from their family or they never saw it. If I see my father loving on my mom a certain way, then I know what it looks like to receive love the right way from a man. And sometimes because we haven't modeled it right in our homes, we haven't shown our children the right way by the love we show one another. When they get into dating relationships, they sometimes take anything, accept anything, fall into anything because they haven't seen it modeled right. But when there's been a set standard that mom loves my dad like this, and my God, she takes care of him, and my daddy loves my mama, there's a certain type of standard that you didn't carry because you're like, I'm not going to accept anything from anybody.
Right. So in other words, you bring security to your kids.
Yes.
Through your love.
Absolutely. And your kids don't fall out when the first person touch them the wrong way, or give them a hug the wrong way, or do something. It doesn't cause them to fall out and start to say, oh my God, I don't know what it does is it shows them a pattern, and it gives them something to look at in terms of this is the model of what it's supposed to look like in a marriage. And
they're able to determine if this is healthy or if it's unhealthy.
Absolutely. And so I think it's important that we do that. Some other things I think it's important that we've learned, lessons that we've learned over our 29 years that we'll be celebrating on Sunday, is check in with your spouse regularly. Check in with your spouse regularly. That means check in and find out, how am I doing? Check in with your spouse to find out, am I doing okay? Check in with your spouse and say, what is it I can do better or do differently? You know, I remember asking my husband, so what is your highest fantasy? Right? He looked at me like, what? Like, what is your highest fantasy? What is the thing that you would like for me to do that I have never done before? Right? So what is that fantasy?
Did I tell you?
You did tell me. You got something else for me? I always ask, so how are we doing? How am I doing in this relationship with you? How am I doing as it relates to your wife? Right? How am I doing as it relates to being in relationship with you and where you are now? Because what he needed when we were first married and what he needed at 15 years of marriage and what he needed at 20 years of marriage may be different now that we're going to cross over to 29 years of marriage.
Right. Now, some things won't change.
Yep.
But some things will change. And so, you will determine that as you go along. And so, I mean, it's interesting that you said that, what is your fantasy? Because what we have to realize that we might as well get the best, get all you can get.
Absolutely.
And so we have to know those things. We have to inquire of those things because that's what we're here for.
Absolutely.
The Bible even tells us that, that our desires are towards one another.
Absolutely. That's right, Tanisha. Check in and see if the love tank is full. You got to check your love tank. Check your love bank, making sure that I'm not on depletion. Right? Because sometimes we can think that the bank is full, but the bank is actually empty. Because I'm filling you with my love language, but I'm not filling you with your love language. All right, that's a whole nother issue. We talked about that before. If I'm filling you with my love language, then I'm full. But you may be on empty because you're not getting your love language filled the way you want it. If you say, can you scratch my back? And I reach to scratch your back, you say, no, right there. Go to the left, go to the left, go down, go. And I'm still trying to find it, and I never find it. You eventually going to say, move your hand, I'll do it. Right? Because you know exactly where it is. Most of the time, what we do is we don't ask our spouse exactly what is it that you need from me so I can fill your love bank the way you need your love bank to be filled.
And what we need to do is take our spouses by the hand and say, let me show you.
Yes, that's good.
Let me show you.
And be patient with your spouse while they're learning that love language, because it is going to be different. It is going to be a challenge for them to take on a new way of loving you because it's out of their comfort zone. So you got to be patient with them while they're learning how to love you the way you want to be loved, and don't get frustrated because it's taking them a long time or it's taking them some time to get it.
Yeah, because you don't want to say, well, loving you is wrong and I don't want to be right. No,
Right?
You want to be right.
Absolutely. So it takes some time. Be patient. Can I say that part too? Another lesson. Be patient in your marriage.
You have to be.
Be patient with your spouse. Be patient with yourself. Come on.
Yeah, because about patience is a virtue. It's a character. It's the way that we need to, conduct ourselves, because none of us come ready-made.
Absolutely.
I had to learn that, because if in our 29 years that you have to be patient, and you cannot change your spouse.
Right. Come on. And you shouldn't want to change your spouse. Come on, because if you want to change them, that means that what you married, you don't like. You don't want them the way they are. And anytime we want to change something, it means that we're dissatisfied with what we have.
That's right.
But if you said, this is who I want, and this is who I said I do to, or this is who I want to walk down the aisle to, you got to be able to willing to be patient and accept that person as they are.
That's right.
We do too much changing of our mind after we done said I do. I don't like that now. Well, you didn't like that when you was dating. Now all of a sudden it's an issue, but you didn't deal with it in the dating. Come on.
Yeah, but you saw that beforehand.
Right. Okay, single ladies, let me talk to you for a minute. If you are dating a young man, you're in a relationship with them, you see some things in the dating that just don't sit right, that just don't register with you. You're like, I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if this is, this. If I can be with this kind of person, then you need to check that. Then don't wait till you get married and say, while you're dating, say, oh, it'll be okay. I'll be all right. I can love and pass that, because guess what? That one thing that you don't like is going to be the thing that's going to come alive, and it'll be the thing that will irritate you to no end, that you won't be able to get over in the marriage, because now you're going to take it more personal than you did when you was dating.
Because if you say you can pass it, you won't be able to pass it, because when you get married, it's going to be too large for you to pass, because it's going to grow.
That's exactly right.
And so when you see something, you're seeing it at its beginning stages.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
To let you know if that's something you want to contend with.
And that's why in the dating, you take the time to assess whether or not this person is a person I want to be in a long-term marriage with.
Right. Somebody put down, Nikki put it, don't ignore the signs.
That's right.
That's right. It's like traveling. Can you imagine on the road, you're traveling and you ignore all the signs?
Right.
Where will you end up?
Right.
If you ignore all the signs.
Lost. You'll be lost. And the other part is, if you ignore the signs, those things are the things that are there to get you to stop for a second, to assess whether or not I can really do this with this person. Right? I think oftentimes in dating relationships, we put the best foot forward. We put on a show. We have we put on a certain presentation. We're all presenting a certain way in the dating relationship. But after you present that way in the dating relationship, guess what? The real deal comes alive in the marriage. And oftentimes what you present in dating is not who you are in the marriage.
So is it possible that some of people wearing costumes?
Correct, right.
In the dating?
Come on, mask.
Right.
And we stand at altars and we say, I do, but we really don't mean the I do, because when it's time to live it all the way out, we have to, we stop. Because I didn't mean that. No, I can't do that part. I can't do richer for poor. Or for poor for richer, richer for poor. I can't do that part. No, it's going to be richer for richer with you.
Right.
I can't do this sickness or health stuff. I can't do these things, because I represented a certain way. The worst thing in the world is getting a marriage with somebody and they start pulling off wigs and taking eyelashes off and taking teeth out of mouth. And you like, what in the world happened?
Yeah,
who is this?
Yeah, who is that?
Oh my God.
You didn't tell me that. You you didn't show me that part.
Come on.
You didn't show me that side.
And how important is it to show yourself in the dating? Be real. Dating, I'm talking to my single women. You need to, I want to see, listen, I asked my husband several questions. I wanted to see him in different scenarios. Because I wanted to see how he would respond. Because I know we're going to hit on them places. Mm-hmm. Yes, and he responded in ways I thought he would respond. He didn't respond in any way that made me say, oh, I'm out of here. Because if he had it, I would have told him, nope, can't do this. Mm-mm.
But see, I told you how, oh, listen.
Go ahead, talk about it.
You have to, see, the thing is, what we learn is honesty. I'm telling you, that is so important in your relationship.
Absolutely. Put that in the comments.
Being truthful.
Learn to be honest and truthful. That's a lesson.
No matter how it may sound, how much it may hurt. Because if you don't be honest, it's going to hurt a lot worse down the road.
And it'll be a much deeper hurt.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Come on. Talk about it.
And so it's important. See.
What did you tell me? You said I told you.
Well, I told you how I was going to respond. So won't be any surprises. This is how I'm going to respond. Mm-hmm. And so now, since I've told you, now you have to decide. Mm-hmm. The ball is in your court now.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Will I be able to deal with this type of response? Mm-hmm. This type of behavior?
Yes. Absolutely.
And so you're looking at 29 years of being able to deal with certain situations. Mm-hmm. Being able to, not saying because you deal with it that you like it, mm-hmm. but you learn to deal with it.
Mm-hmm. And deal with yourself with how you feel and how you're seeing it. Because sometimes stuff that we see, some stuff that's happening, it's on our perception about it, based on maybe something that's happened in our past, maybe something that's happened, in the past of our relationship that we still haven't healed from, that maybe we haven't forgiven fully you for. And here's another thing, another lesson is you gotta forgive. Forgiveness has to be a daily practice in your marriage. 29 years, you're looking at 29 years of daily practicing forgiveness. You have to practice it. It's a lesson that you have to learn, and you have to practice it and do it every single day. But oftentimes we don't forgive our spouses for little things, the little misunderstanding, the little breakdown in communication that kind of grew into something bigger. Forgiving when things don't go the way we think they should go, and we got an attitude, not walking around with attitudes. Mm-hmm. Those things will drive how you feel about your spouse and how you feel about being in that relationship with them.
I mean, you're saying something so important, because I'm going to tell you, the thing I've learned is that as it pertains to forgiveness, it's not worth holding your spouse to something that eventually you will hold, it will bind you to.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
It's not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not worth having unforgiveness in your heart towards your spouse.
Mm-hmm.
Because guess what? If you want forgiveness, you have to forgive.
That's right.
And there's going to come a time that we all going to need forgiveness. Mm-hmm. Or in other words, we're going to need mercy.
Mm-hmm. Lord have mercy.
So now that's what I've learned in these 29 years. It's not worth holding your spouse to something.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Because the relationship is so much more important than a particular thing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So for those of you who are coming on, hey, Dolores, we're talking about lessons that we've learned over 29 years. We're celebrating 29 years on Sunday, June the 20th. It is our anniversary. So tonight we're just talking about lessons that we have learned. We didn't get to come on last night, so we're on tonight. But you're talking about forgiveness. And the other lesson we learned is learn how to resolve the conflict and move on.
Yes.
Right? Oftentimes we want to stay and be stuck in a conflict. Mm-hmm. But when you learn to resolve it, go ahead and move on past it. Come on. Don't consult the archives of your life, of your marriage with old stuff. If you bury it, bury it. If you're gonna put it away, put it away. Right. Don't look back. Don't be like Lot's wife, looking back for stuff and turn to a pillar of salt. Don't do that. Keep going. Leave it alone. Resolve it and move forward. Don't put it under the rug. Don't sweep it in the corner. Don't put nothing on top of it. Don't not dust it. Deal with it.
Right. And so as it pertains to that, learning not to hold anger.
Yes, that's good.
Not to keep anger in your heart.
Towards your spouse.
Towards your spouse. That's one thing that I've learned in these 29 years. Yes, you're going to get upset about something, but don't allow it to get you so angry that you keep that in your heart.
Absolutely.
That's so important. Because the Bible even tells us, don't let the sun go down upon your wrath, your anger. Don't hold on to it. It's not worth it.
That's right, Pastor. That's right. So
because you would damage your own self.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So learn to resolve it.
Yes.
Forgiveness. Practice forgiveness daily. Right? Practice forgiveness daily. That's really in any relationship. But really in a marriage relationship.
Yeah.
Because daily there's a potential for your spouse to say something, do something, to act a way that you feel a certain way about it. Forgive,
right.
Move on, resolve it. Don't go back to the archives. Don't go back to the old files, getting the old stuff. Leave that stuff alone and go forward. Forgive, resolve, and move on.
Right, because as the Bible says, and the two shall become one. It's a journey.
Yes, that's good.
It's a journey. You're becoming. You're coming into.
Yes, yes.
And guess what? In these 29 years, we're still coming into.
Absolutely.
We're still becoming one.
Absolutely. And in the journey of becoming one, we have learned to keep it fun.
Yeah.
We have learned to...
See, we're keeping it fun. Say that again.
I don't know what I said.
In the journey of becoming one,
we have learned to keep it fun. Come on, y'all.
That's a hashtag.
Y'all put that in the comments. Come on, and Nikki Baker Parker, put that in there.
Come on.
All right. So in the journey to becoming one, we've learned how to keep it fun, and we've just learned how to enjoy one another.
In a simple thing.
Yeah, absolutely. We laugh at each other. I mean, that's everything. I mean, not everything is funny, but there are things that we can see on each other, and boy, we get to laughing, and it's just fun.
It's fun, it's fun when you see your wife standing, and all of a sudden she loses her balance, wiggles and wobbles. They fall, but they don't fall down.
It's so many things that we've learned to just laugh.
Yeah.
Rather than pointing it out and saying, "Oh, look at you." No, we laugh. We enjoy each other's company.
Yeah.
Right? Enjoy hanging out with each other. That is fun being with each other. I think we haven't done it in a long time, so we probably need to do it. Is pull out some of our board games and play games together. We used to play games together all the time, but keeping it fun. Keeping it, where you're enjoying each other. We enjoy watching movies and sitting up and eating pizza. Those are something we enjoy doing, but having fun.
Till we can't even keep our eyes open.
The movie is watching us most of the time. But anyway, just those things are fun, right? We enjoy that.
Yeah. And those are practical things.
Absolutely.
They're not deep. They're just simple, practical stuff.
And so keeping things really fun in your marriage and keeping it fun in your relationship. Couple other things. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and go here. Have sex. All right.
Have sex, more sex, more sex, more sex.
Have lots of it and enjoy one another.
As much as you can withstand.
Enjoy one another.
That's the bottom line.
Right? Bottom line is enjoying each other sexually, enjoying each other in relationship, just having fun with each other. Don't make it rigid and a task to do. Being
naked and unashamed.
Yes. And being in that, don't make excuses. Come on. Don't make an excuse why you can't. I can't. I got a headache. All that. No. Leave that. I learned a long time ago that my head and my lower part has nothing to do. They're not even connected.
And she has convinced me of that. And so,
actually, if I can be really honest with you, being intimate, having having sex with your spouse can oftentimes release the oxytocin that needs to be released in your brain that creates that relaxing state that can drive that headache away. Oh yeah, I said that. All right, y'all will listen to that later and y'all will get that. Yeah, there's a chemical release in our brains when we touch. There's touching. There's any type of emotion touch, hugging, kissing, anything. It's called oxytocin. And what it does, it releases an emotion in you that causes your body to relax and cause you to become more relaxed in a state of peace. And so it can even relieve a headache. And so your head and your lower extremities, your lower part of you, has nothing to do with each other.
Oh, Tylenol is in trouble now.
Right? So enjoy one another, right? Don't hold out on your spouse. Don't make excuses. Sacrifice sacrifice time with your spouse. Do things your spouse enjoys doing. I know that my husband gets pleasure when I do things he enjoys doing.
Well,
I get pleasure. No, I get pleasure when I start. What? What you talking about? Lord, help my husband. Y'all, Nikki, get him.
This is 29 years.
No, what? No, just doing things like, going to, if he likes to go and if he likes to watch a movie or if he likes to watch this game or what have you, I do things with him that he enjoys doing, so that we both are being everybody's laughing, so that we are both have enjoyed being in relationship with each other, being with each other. Yeah. Right. That's when we ask, what do you want to eat? I don't know what I want to eat. We go round robin trying to find something to eat. But it's something that we both come to an agreement and say, hey, this is what we want to do together. Right. So have fun. Have fun with each other. All right. So those are our lessons. We got so many more. Mm-hmm. Boy, with so many we could give you. But those are just some we felt would be helpful.
I guess this is part one.
Part one, probably. Pastor, we'll come up with another one. Y'all, yes, we are cutting up tonight. Absolutely. Praise the Lord. But it's our anniversary weekend, and it's also Father's Day weekend. But we wanted to come on and just talk about lessons and things that we've learned over the 29 years. All right, guys. Listen, I've had a great time.
We did. We had a great time.
We hope that you can take these lessons and you can apply them. Yes. Hopefully we've said something to you tonight. And we didn't want to make it really formal, just talking, just casual. Give you some things that you can do. All right. For my newlyweds who are just getting married, you having children, and your children are and you're young and you're trying to be have certain things going on. Set boundaries. Make sure you set plenty of boundaries. Your children should not sleep in your bedroom with you too long. Right? I know when our babies are infants, we put them in the bassinet. We want to keep them in the room. But your children, wives, your children have to learn to be able to get in their own bedroom and go, so that there can be that privacy between you and your spouse, you and your husband.
Yeah, so don't make daddy have to pick them up and put them in the basket.
Okay, Shamika says she's been married for 2 years.
Wow.
All righty. And so yes, so being young and married, it requires attention, and it requires a lot of prioritizing of one another. Spend these 2 years of focusing in on each other and really here's another good lesson. Study your spouse. Yes. Study your man. Study your wife. Right? Study. Daryl's birthday is on the 20th. All right.
Oh, wow. Girl, yeah.
Study your spouse. Yes. Study that man. What does he like? Not just what he likes, what he wants to eat, his favorite color, those kinds of things, but study him. What makes this man who he is? What makes him the person he is? What things in his life and his childhood and his background have shaped who he is? And vice versa. When you get to know her, what are those things that have shaped her?
And it's important that you work together.
Yes, please.
Work together, because you don't want one spouse feeling like they're doing all this by themselves. Mm-hmm. Work together. Mm-hmm. It's fun when you do it together.
Yes. When you come together, you say, hey, we got an expected end. We got a goal we're going to get to. And so because we got an expected end and a goal we're going to work together as one unified front. I always say it like this. You cannot win a three-legged race. You cannot win a three-legged race if your legs are not tied at the right spaces. You can't tie your legs at the outside legs and think you're gonna win the race. You have to tie your legs at the inside, right? Because it's the inside that creates the connection and creates the union. And if those inside legs are tied together, you have to move at the same step, at the same pace, at the same beat, so that you get to the finish line together. So you got to do this as one. So walk as one. Walk as one in this marriage. Be unified. Make it your goal to please your spouse every day. And I promise you, you pour in, they will pour into you. Right. You pour in, you will get it back. It comes back. It's like sowing and sowing seed. I sow in good seed, I get good seed back.
And you'll come to new discoveries.
Yes, absolutely.
New discovery.
Absolutely.
So it's been 29 years. And so when we come back, it'll be 54, because 29 plus 29, no, what's that? 60, 50, what's that? 58.
Okay.
58. Yeah, 29 plus 29, 58. So we'll be back in 58 years. I'm just messing. We're
going to be married for 58 years, Lord willing. If the Lord wills, and we can stay, we'll be married till he comes back.
That's right.
And listen, I'm enjoying being married to my husband, that if in fact we are caught up and we go to glory, that when we get to heaven, I'm going to look for him.
Same here.
Because he's such a good person. And I've enjoyed being married to him. So I'm going to look for him while we're in heaven.
Same here.
Yes. That's the kind of marriage you want to have.
Yes.
Where you are like, when I get to heaven, I'm going to look for you. I might not know you as my husband, but I'm going to know you as somebody special. And I'm going to look for you.
That's right.
Yes. All right, guys. What an awesome night.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us tonight. We plan to be back on next Thursday.
Yes.
At 8 p.m. It's our normal time. So if this is your first time joining us on Let's Talk Marriage with the Manleys, we'll be back on next Thursday, which is our normal time, at 8 p.m. right here on my page or on my husband's page at Roy Manley the second. Again, we'll be back next week, next Thursday, same time, same channel, 8 p.m. We want to see you next week. And also, I'm having a 2-day class on this coming Monday and Tuesday. If you want to be a part of that class, I want you to join me. I'm going to be talking about his heart, your hand. I'm going to teach you how to get your husband's heart in your hand. Not just hold his power, his strength, and his provisions, but learn to get the heart of your husband where he's open, he's vulnerable, he's talking to you, he's running home for more, he's excited about seeing you. When he sees you, man, he's like, I'm all in love with this girl. Come on, I want to teach you how to do this. So if you want to be a part of that, the class is open still. I've got some spaces for you to join. The site to go register is www.theelitewife.com. If you want to be a part of that, go to www.theelitewife.com, and that class will be starting on Monday at 7 p.m. for 2 days. I'm going to pour into you for 2 days. I'm going to be coming fresh off my honeymoon, fresh off my anniversary. Right. And so you're going to get it all. I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give you some good stuff. Okay.
And I encourage you to sign up because everything she will tell you works.
Absolutely. You see it. It's right here. I got the proof. The proof is in the pudding.
That's right.
All right. So I want to share with you. So join that class. If you want to be a part of it, go to my website. Nikki, if you put my website, thank you, Nikki, for doing that. Also, guys, we'll see you next week.
Next week.
Have a good one. All the fathers, happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy birthday, Daryl.
Yes.
God bless you.
Happy birthday.
And we'll see you all on next week. All right. Take care. Have a good one.
God bless.